Hey everybody, imagine this. You are about to type your credit card number into a website. Before you hit submit, how do you know that website is actually who it says it is? How do you know you are talking to your real bank and not somebody who has built a perfect copy of it just to steal your credentials? And even if it is your real bank, how do you know that nobody is sitting between you and that server is reading everything you send? These are not hypothetical questions. These attacks happen on a daily basis on the internet. And the entire system that protects you from them every time automatically without you thinking about it is called PKI, Public Key Infrastructure. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how it works. And when you see that little padlock in your browser, you will know precisely what it means and why you should care. Welcome to video 31, the PKI, Public Key Infrastructure, how the internet decides who you trust. Let's start with something you already understand. You are applying for a job at Google or Microsoft. You studied Kubernetes. You worked very hard. You want to prove your skills. Now imagine I walk up to you and say, I will certify you that you know Kubernetes. Here is the certificate signed by me. That will be $300, please. Would you pay me? Of course not. Not even $50 for that, right? Why? Because you know that Google and Microsoft do not know who I am. My signature means nothing to them. Even if my certificate is beautifully printed and technically accurate, it carries zero weightage in the real world. What about CodeCloud? They are a well-known Kubernetes training platform. If CodeCloud certifies you, would Google accept that for a job interview? Still no, because CodeCloud is trusted only inside their own ecosystem. Their certificate carries weight among the people who know them, but Google does not even accept CodeCloud's word for it. They have their own standards. Now you go and pass the CKA exam. Linux Foundation signs your certificate. Suddenly, every company in the world accepts it. Google accepts it. Microsoft accepts it. Companies in India, Japan, Germany, Brazil, all of them accept it. Why? Because Linux Foundation has been accepted globally as a trusted authority for Kubernetes certification. The world agrees if Linux Foundation says you pass CKA, you passed. That right there, my friends, is the entire concept of a certificate authority, a CA, an organization that the world has agreed to trust when it vouches for someone else. And there are two kinds of CAs, public CAs, which are trusted globally, like Linux Foundation for CKA certification, and private CAs, trusted locally within a company or a network, like CodeCloud certificates within their own platform. Same process of issuing certificates, same verification, just a different scope of trust. Now let's map this to the internet. In this example, the person who received the CKA certificate is the website, say google.com. Linux Foundation is the public CA, and you, sitting at your laptop trying to connect to google.com, you are an employer asking to see the certificate before you trust this person. Here is what happens every single time you open a website. You type google.com into your browser. Before any data is exchanged, before your search query gets anywhere, your browser says, prove to me that you are actually google.com, not an imposter. Google.com responds by presenting a certificate issued and signed by a globally trusted CA. That certificate says, this is google.com, this is their IP, and these are their aliases. And a globally trusted authority like DigiCert, Entrust, Microsoft or Google Trust Services, to name a few, has verified and confirmed it. Your browser checks that certificate, recognizes the CA that signed it, and says, verified. I trust this certificate, let's proceed. The entire handshake happens in a few milliseconds, every time, automatically. Now here is where it gets important for you as a user. That certificate lists the name, the IP address, and all the aliases of the website. Every single name someone might try to reach that website needs to be there on that certificate. because not everyone types the name. Some systems connect by IP. Some use internal aliases. If any name or IP that someone uses to connect is missing from that certificate, you will see this. Browser error, your connection is not private. Attackers might be trying to steal your information. If you ever see that message on your bank's website, close the tab immediately. Do not proceed. Do not click through. A legitimate bank website will never show you that error. That error means either the certificate was wrong, expired, or worst case, you are on a fake website designed to steal your bank's credentials. That error message is PKI protecting you. The system saw something it could not verify and stopped you before you share anything sensitive. So the question is, how does Google or any website get that trusted certificate in the first place? They cannot just go and ask for one. The CA runs them through a rigorous verification process before issuing anything. To get a certificate from a public CA, a website owner must submit a request to sign its certificate, called a certificate signing request, with the proof of domain ownership, business registration documents, articles of incorporation, telephone verification, and additional compliance checks. The CA verifies everything independently. Only once they are satisfied that this company is real and this domain actually belongs to them, only then the certificate is issued. And that's exactly why if I create a website on my server by the name google.com and want a CA to sign it so that I can steal traffic from google.com, I cannot do it because CA will never sign that certificate for me and my copy google.com website. Why? Because I'll never be able to provide the documents that Google domain belongs to me. It is exactly like passing the CKA exam. Linux Foundation does not just hand you a certificate because you said you know Kubernetes. They test you, they verify you, and only then, when you prove it, they sign your certificate. That signature now carries weight everywhere you go. But wait, there is one more piece to this. Your browser trusted the certificate because it recognized the CA that signed it. But how did your browser know to trust that CA in the first place? This is where it gets elegant. Every operating system, Windows, Mac, Linux, iOS, and Android, ships with a built-in list of trusted root certificates from globally recognized CAs. This list is maintained and updated by the OS vendor. When your computer receives a software update, it also receives the new trusted root certificates. And the ones that are revoked are removed from the trusted root certificate store from your computers. So when your browser sees a website certificate signed by DigiCert or Let's Encrypt or GlobalSign, it checks its built-in trusted store. Is root certificate there and says, I know this authority. I trust what they have signed. Verified. That built-in list of trusted root certificates is the foundation of the entire trust chain on the internet. Remove it and no website would be trusted by anyone on the internet. Now we understand trust, but we have not talked about the second half of PKI, privacy. How does it make sure nobody in between can read what you and the website are saying to each other? This is where Lockbox comes in, and I want you to picture this very clearly. Imagine a special lockbox, this one. This lockbox is unlike any ordinary lockbox. Anyone can lock it, you simply snap it shut. But here's the twist. Once it's locked, there is only one key in the entire world that can open it. And that key belongs to the website. Even the person who has locked it, you cannot open it again. Here is how the CA creates this for every website it certifies. When a website wants a certificate, they generate two things: a lockbox that anybody can close, and a private key that is the only thing in the world that can open this lockbox. They keep that private key a secret. It never leaves their server. Never ever. The lockbox, on the other hand, we call it the public key, gets embedded into their certificate. The CA signs that certificate and sends it back to the website. Now when your browser connects to google.com, Google sends you their certificate. That certificate is their lockbox, their public key. Now your browser verifies that this certificate presented by google.com is issued by a public CA it knows of. Then it takes your data, puts it into that lockbox and snaps it shut. Now that data is traveling across the internet in a lockbox, encrypted. Every router it passes through on the way, every network it crosses, every point where someone might be intercepting the traffic, they see just a lockbox. They cannot open it as they don't have the key. Only Google server has the private key. Only Google can open that box and read what you sent. So the traffic reaches from your browser to Google servers through the internet in an encrypted state, locked inside that lockbox, and only Google server can decrypt it and read it. That is encryption. This is how your credit card numbers travel safely across the open internet. Let's put it all together, the trust and encryption in one flow. A company builds a website. They generate their lockbox and their private key. They create what is called a CSR, a certificate signing request. This is essentially them saying to a CA, here is my lockbox. Here is the proof that I own this domain. Please certify that this lockbox genuinely belongs to me, my website. The CA runs them through the verification process we talked about earlier. They confirm the domain ownership, the business identity, and everything. Once satisfied, they take that lockbox and stamp it with their signature. Stamp is the global CA certifying the lockbox. Now when someone connects to that website, the website presents its certificate, the CA stamped lockbox. The visitor's browser sees the CA stamp, recognizes it from its trusted list, and says, this lockbox is genuine. I trust it. The visitor puts their data in that lockbox, snaps it shut. Only the website's private key can now open it. Communication is now private and verified. Trust established, data secured, that is PKI working end to end. Now, not every website needs to be trusted on the entire internet. Your company's internal HR portal, your internal monitoring dashboard, your internal Kubernetes API server, they are not meant for the public internet. Only your employees and the internal network staff needs to access them. So if you put a public CA signed certificate on every single one of those internal systems, you are paying real money for every certificate, renewing each year over year. That adds up fast, and it makes no sense because public internet never needs to trust any of those systems because they are not accessible on the public internet. So what do companies actually do? They run their own private CAs internally. They generate their own root certificate, their own lockbox and key pair for the CA itself. They push that private root CA certificate into every computer inside their company's network through internal software management. Now every employee's laptop trusts the certificate issued by their internal CAs because the root certificate of the internal CA is already in their trusted stores. Internal websites get certificates from internal CAs, free, instant, no renewal fee. And only the external websites that needs to be trusted on the public internet get certificates from public CAs. You run both simultaneously for our internal systems. That mix is what a real production PKI environment looks like. Now let's bring everything together. PKI is a system of trust and encryption. It answers two questions that matter every time you connect to anything. First, is this really who it says it is? Answered by certificate issued and verified by the certificate authority. Second, is our communication private? Answered by the lockbox, public key encrypts, private key decrypts. Anyone can lock it, only the owner can open it. Globally, because their root certificates live on every computer through OS updates. Private CAs are trusted internally because companies push their root certificates into the company's machines through their internal software management. So, when you see that padlock in your browser, both questions have been answered. Identity verified communication encrypted. You are safe to proceed. And when you see that certificate error, one of those answers have failed. Close the tab immediately. Now you know what PKI is, and you know how it protects every connection you make on the internet without you thinking about it. Here is what's coming next, and I promise you, this one will genuinely surprise you. Kubernetes never creates users. There are no user accounts, no username, no password stored anywhere in the cluster. And yet, you connect to it from your own laptops. Kubernetes knows exactly who you are, and it decides exactly what you are allowed to do inside. How? It uses precisely what you learned today. And when you see how Kubernetes designers pull this off using certificates as identity, you will appreciate just how elegant this whole system is. I was genuinely impressed the first time I understood it, and I think you will be too. That is the next video. If this video gave you that moment of clarity when something that always felt mysterious finally made sense, then please do me a favor. Hit that like button. It tells YouTube this video is worth showing to other people who are in the same journey you are on. And if you want the next video the moment it drops, subscribe and hit the bell button. Every video in this series builds on the last one, and you do not want to miss a step. And if you have a friend studying for CKA, share this with them. PKI is one of those topics that nobody explains properly. Be the one who helped them understand it. I will see you in the next one. Have a blessed day, everyone.